How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new news roundup video. Got quite a few interesting things to talk about today, starting with Titans updates. Normally I put those in their own separate video, but I'm going to include it in this big news roundup. But also not only Titans updates, but news of a potential crossover between Titans, Stargirl, and Doom Patrol. So we're going to dive into that. Also, we have an update on Warner Brothers Discovery's DC's Kevin Feige search and what's going on with that. A new Jonathan Kent has indeed been cast for Superman and Lois Season 3. And in some Star Wars news, we have finally the casting for Ezra Bridger. I'm also going to get into the casting for the male lead for Star Wars, The Acolyte, and a great new look at Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock and Daredevil. As in, we get to see a good look at the mask. Now, I do want to say, I know D23 is happening, so there's going to be a bunch more information on some of the things I'm talking about. Just know that I will be doing update videos for that, but I wanted to talk about everything else in this video while I still could. By the way, check out my new Black Adam official trailer 2 breakdown that I uploaded yesterday. It's quite a new and improved trailer, and I would love to know your thoughts on that one. But let's now first start off with Titans. Now, you may have heard, and I'm a couple of days late to this maybe, that Titans could very well be crossing over with not only Doom Patrol, but Stargirl, which is very, very fascinating. As people always say, take this with a grain of salt, sometimes an iceberg of salt, but with this particular rumor, it does seem like there is something at the bottom of the barrel. Initially, I believe this came from a user called NerdPolitics3 on Twitter. I went to go to their Twitter page to look at the posts again, but the Twitter page is gone. Like, this user does not exist. But essentially, they're saying these 3 shows will cross over. I believe it's Larry Trainer and Robot Man and Cyborg from Doom Patrol. Titans, no confirmed characters, but supposedly it is in a Titans episode. And for Stargirl, it is Courtney Whitmore, Stargirl herself, and apparently no other characters. Now, another user on Twitter, going by Neb, or Neb's Good Take, says, I've just been sent proof by the original poster, and there does appear to be a crossover filming with Titans, Doom Patrol, and Stargirl right now. This, on September 7th, they said follow NerdPolitics3 for more information. I'm flabbergasted right now, but as we know, the profile's now gone. They go on to show this video that I actually saw when Brec Bassinger was streaming on Instagram, I believe it was, 6 days ago, and at that very beginning of the video, she hides some of the costumes on the rail because she thinks there might be something spoilery on there. This could be unrelated, by the way. There are some other dates, such as how Brec Bassinger supposedly could very well be filming her Stargirl scenes on September 17th. But Neb continues to say, got it confirmed by another source as well. Sorry for being cryptic and annoying, but additionally, Brec mentioned a crossover on a recent podcast, the Flash podcast, and this really wasn't too long ago. So this is what Brec Bassinger had to say about DC crossovers. So I do know, just talking to Jeff Johns, our showrunner, nothing specific to the Flash, but there are other things. There is still talks going on about a small crossover cameo situation, and we're actually working on schedules. So I'm hoping it works out, because clearly last time it did not, but I'd say stay optimistic, they're still pushing for it. So that could very well be likely talking about this 3-show crossover. Given that the filming isn't requiring multiple days or anything like that, Doom Patrol, for example, wrapped back in August, if I remember correctly, so they may have very well filmed their scenes, which suggests to me that not necessarily every single character would be in the same scene. Then, comes the whole question of how is this even going to work with them being in different universes, but more on that in a second. Now, I have heard that what is going round is that it's a casting sheet. I mean, it's kind of obvious anyway, and that's what information is basically being leaked, with certain details, such as what we've read out and what's been floating out around the internet. But yeah, how will this exactly happen? I mean, going back to Titans Season 1, originally in that finale that I'm sure many of you know by now, it was scrapped, but they filmed with Larry Trainer. I think he was even opening up a portal. Now, this was the Titans Season 1 version of Doom Patrol, because don't forget that Doom Patrol technically is on a different Earth, Beast Boy, Ryan Potter's Beast Boy, was never a part of it like he was a part of the Titans version of Doom Patrol in Titans Season 1, Episode 4. So this begs the question, are they going to use the Titans version of Doom Patrol? I don't think so. I really don't think that's going to be the case. But then, if they're not using the Titans version of Doom Patrol, then how does the Doom Patrol members get to this other Earth? And also, Stargirl was on another Earth, as shown at the end of Crisis on Infinite Earths on the CW. Now, it could just be a case where they're not actually even in person. But then, it's like, how does a technological phone call or FaceTime work across the multiverse? Now, as we said earlier, this is apparently in a Titans episode, and what I find interesting is that Joseph Morgan tweeted a little while ago before I did my previous Titans update video, in how he's read all of the scripts, even the episode he's not in. And he's basically the male lead villain for Titans Season 4, Sebastian Sanger, aka Brother Blood. They're adapting the Church of Blood, and sure, you could just argue that he's not in one of the episodes and this is nothing to do with the crossover, but considering there's talk of this crossover now, Joseph Morgan says that he's read all the scripts, even the one that he's not in. Could that one episode be the Doom Patrol, Stargirl, and Titans episode? Now, as for my take on this, do I think it's believable? I am leaning, believe it or not, more towards that this is actually happening, has already happened for some actors, but for example, Brett Bassinger is still going to happen around September 17th, apparently. But what do I think of it happening in the first place? So Doom Patrol and Titans are a lot more edgier shows. They cuss, they get into some gore, some messed up stuff. I mean, Titans Season 4 is adapting Brother Blood. So to imagine an episode that features Stargirl, that's the other factor in this. Stargirl is involved with Doom Patrol and Titans. Now, I don't want to blow it out of proportion because considering, as I said, the little filming that is being involved in this crossover, if you will, I can't see how much time is going to be allocated to this. So just because Stargirl, people are shocked that we have Courtney Whitmore potentially interacting with other characters like Robot Man, Cliff Steele for crying out loud. But then the Titans characters, we know that the tones don't exactly match. But I'm sure whatever idea or pitch they have for this, they have a pretty damn good reason for it happening. I personally, if this is true, am very, very, very down for it. This means we'll get Ryan Potter's Beast Boy interacting with Cyborg. They wouldn't do a crossover, I'm telling you, like this, you know, even if it's very small, without, you know, realizing, oh crap, we need to get Ryan Potter and Javan Wade's Cyborg on screen together, interacting somehow, even if it's just a, you know, a line where Ryan Potter's Beast Boy says, hey man, I like your tech, and he's like, oh, thanks man, because those two actors have wanted to work together for ages. But I'm going to repeat myself again, how is this going to happen? This has got something to do with Raven's weird powers. I know that Larry obviously can do some weird multi-dimensional stuff as well. So I would just want to leave the floor open to you now. How do you think this will happen? Bear in mind that it's not going to be a traditional crossover event with regards to the scope of it. It's just like a one episode thing. We might not even have too much involvement from certain characters like Courtney Whitmore if they're filming for one day. We know that it is Cliff Steele, aka Robot Man, Negative Man, aka Larry Trainer, other way around or whatever, and then Javan Wade, Cyborg, Vic of course, and Courtney Whitmore, and then whoever is going to be involved in the Titans episode, as it is supposedly in Titans Season 4. So let me know your ideas for this. I will be doing a lot more of a bigger breakdown on more accurate details as or if we get them. But before we go to the next story, we do have some more Titans updates. For example, Joseph Morgan has indeed posted to his Twitter page that he is done, wrapped, finito, goodbye DC Titans, it was a hell of a ride. So it looks like he's finished shooting his scenes for his character Sebastian Sanger, Brother Blood.
Well guys, this is it. I'm completely done on Titans. Finished. And what a last couple of days it was. Man, so physical and emotional. Big shout out to all of the cast. Their incredible job that they do. So grueling, you know, all of the stunt stuff and then the high stakes emotional scenes in the show, you know. Everybody, Brenton, Tegan, Anna, Jay, Ryan, Josh, amazing. So good to work with them. Incredible cast, incredible show. So proud of what we did with season 4. So yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see it. Hopefully the release date will be out soon. And in the meantime, I'm on my way to start a new project. And I've never had so short a gap between projects. So wish me luck, because I'm filming on Tuesday. All right, thanks for being with me on this journey, guys. Loads of love, always and forever.
I believe that the rest of the cast on the show have just over a week or so, maybe 8 days, 7 days, I don't know, something around there until they have actually truly wrapped Titan Season 4. And also from the DC Titans Brazil Twitter page, they said that during DragonCon 2022, Ryan Potter indicated that the producers have listened to fan criticism and we should have a season with more teamwork among the Titans. Now, I have also heard a very similar thing through the grapevine that this is going to be a bit more of like a giddy, fun kind of season with that Titans teamwork and, you know, relationships that you have been craving and I have been craving as well. So I am very much so looking forward to that. We've seen it in previous seasons and that is exactly why we've wanted more of it, because it's been fleeting, few and far between. So this is good news that Ryan Potter himself has indicated this at DragonCon. Also in other news, we have some episode stills of Dick and Corey, and it looks like we could be getting some more dickery action. I mean, we kind of expected that this season, especially after the Lazarus Pit vision that Dick Grayson had of their daughter. So here it looks like they could be going out for a romantic meal. There's not really too much more to say than that, but for those of you who don't know this, and if you're a big dickery fan or stan, then this should be making you happy. Now, in other news, for Superman and Lois Season 3, they have found their new Jonathan Kent. So it's being reported that the CW has found its Jonathan Kent. Australian actor Michael Bishop has been tapped to play the role in the upcoming third season of the CW's Superman and Lois in a recasting. He replaces Jordan Elsas, who played Jonathan in the first 2 seasons, and revealed he would not be returning for season 3. And we do have a video from Alex Garfin on his Instagram of, I guess, you know, what they're gonna look like. He has a bit of a shorter haircut, just like Jonathan did, compared to Jordan's, you know, longer curly hair. But what I will say is, especially if he had the longer curly hair like Alex Garfin or Jordan Ken, they look very, very similar. So I don't really know what much else to say other than I hope he has a blast. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the role. It is what it is with regards to Jordan Elsas leaving the role, and we just kind of have to look forward now to the future of Superman and Lois with this new casting. And let me know what you think of it. Do you agree with me that he looks really similar? Like, I would say he looks like more related to Alex Garfin's Jordan Kent than Jordan Elsas's Jonathan did. Now, the next story in today's news roundup is that of Warner Brothers Discovery. As we know, they've been searching for their Kevin Feige for the next 10-year plan for DC. And we were talking about how Dan Lin was in talks for that, but apparently it is no longer happening. So according to The Hollywood Reporter, movie producer Dan Lin, who had been in talks to become the head of Warner Brothers Discovery's DC Comics film and TV unit, won't take the job. After all, according to people familiar with the matter, the two sides ended negotiations without reaching a deal. Dan Lin will not be accepting the keys to the DC Kingdom. The producer was in negotiations to assume the expansive role encompassing film and television for the comic book brand, but talks broke down in recent days. Sources say a number of factors complicated talks with Warner Brothers Discovery, with a chief sticking point being Lin's commitments to Rideback, his prolific production company, and Rideback Rise, his new non-profit endeavor. Negotiations went into the salary and vision, but Rideback remained a complication. One scenario envisioned Warner Brothers Discovery taking an equity stake in the company, although the size was always unclear. And that is all there really is to say about it. It's a little bit of a shame, I guess, for Dan, because there was that podcast clip going around with how he says that DC was the one that got away. He was actually meant to be having a very similar, if not the same role in previous years, but it all fell through. But then all of a sudden, he's in talks to, lead it again. But now it's fallen through again because of his commitments to his own companies. So the search continues, guys. Who would you like to see as DC's Kevin Feige, so to speak? There were talks that maybe Greg Berlanti could be chosen, even though sources speculated that he might not even want the job himself. I talked about how some fans were kind of rejecting that idea, whilst other fans kind of loved the idea and what he's accomplished with, the Arrowverse and shows like Doom Patrol and whatnot. So who do you think could be the next candidate for, the Kevin Feige of DC? Let me know. And obviously I will be keeping you posted on anything with regards to this in future news roundup videos. Now, the next story we have to talk about today is a new look at Charlie Cox's Daredevil. I'm kind of surprised that they revealed this and didn't because it's in a promo, so they could have featured this promo a little bit early on, but, you know, maybe they just wanted to kind of generate the hype for you to keep watching She-Hulk because some fans are quite split on it. But it shows his full mask. I'm still quite a fan of this suit, by the way. I know people were like, oh, I don't know about the yellow. I really wish it was exactly like Netflix's version, even though it is very similar, just a bit of recoloring and a subtle few differences here and there. But I think he looks just as badass as ever. We see him in Matt Murdock mode, and I was speculating, will he actually be talking to Jennifer Walters with his actual identity? And that seems to be the case, because I was thinking it would go exactly as this promo suggests, with how he can help Jennifer and inspire her in how she can help legally, but also help those in need, you know, with regards to the superpower side of things, just like he does. You know, Matt Murdock is a lawyer, he helps out that way, but also he goes out at night as Daredevil. So I am looking forward to seeing Charlie Cox. Obviously, I'm apprehensive. She-Hulk is just okay to me. It's really not spectacular. It's not terrible down there on the floor, but we're gonna have to wait and see exactly how Marvel handle the adaptation from Netflix to that of the blend into their Marvel Cinematic Universe. We already saw this with Kingpin, some differences there. What differences will there be with Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock in the MCU? Let me know your thoughts on this new look down in the comments below. Okay, so the last two stories are that of Star Wars, of which, yes, I know by the time I'm posting this, probably some freaking huge update in costume look or something like that, I don't know. But the headline is that Star Wars Eman Esfandi joins Ahsoka as fan favorite Ezra Bridger. And I have to say, this dude looks just like Ezra Bridger of, you know, what I would imagine in live action. So this first comes out of Cinelinx, and they say Eman Esfandi, The Inspection, King Richard, is Ezra Bridger in Star Wars Ahsoka. For a while, Mina Massoud was rumored to be playing the part, but it seems that never came to be. Instead, Esfandi will be picking up the role from Taylor Gray, who voiced the Jedi freedom fighter in Star Wars Rebels. Bridger is set to make his live action debut in Ahsoka, which is currently filming. At the end of Star Wars Rebels, the character sacrificed himself in order to stop Thrawn, with the final scene being Ahsoka picking up Sabine on the planet Lothal in order to go out and find him. It's a plot point that's already been alluded to in live action thanks to The Mandalorian's second season, but will come into focus in the new series. As for who will play Thrawn against Esfandi's Ezra, hard to say. I've heard conflicting stories from sources I trust. Months ago, I heard Lars Mikkelsen, who voiced the Grand Admiral in the cartoon, would not be playing a live action version, but just today, I heard he was Thrawn. As such, I can't say anything conclusive, but if you are hoping to see Lars as Thrawn, there's your spark of hope. But then there is news on the new Star Wars Disney Plus show that will be coming at some point, and that is visiting the dark side of things, and that is The Acolyte. And I'm quite looking forward to this because, you know, personally for me, I want a Disney Plus show or movie set back in the Old Republic, but I'm not going to ramble about that because I feel like most of us Star Wars fans want them to go down that road with Darth Bane, or who knows what series they could adapt there, but a Darth Bane adaptation would be so good. So I'll take any dark side Star Wars shows I can get, including The Acolyte, but this report is really cool. So deadlines say that Squid Game's Lee Jung-jae lands male lead in Star Wars series The Acolyte from Leslie Headland and Lucasfilm. The eve of his potential historic night at the Emmys, Squid Game star Lee Jung-jae looks to have found his first major American studio role following that breakout in a property more popular than the Netflix global phenomenon. Sources tell Deadline that Lee has landed the male lead in the new Disney Plus Star Wars series The Acolyte from Lucasfilm. They go on to say that The Acolyte is a mystery thriller that will take viewers into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic era. In the real universe of Star Wars, Acolyte can refer to individuals with Force abilities who learn from a more experienced Sith Lord. There has been lots of speculation around who this could be about, because considering it's set kind of before the Phantom Menace, I believe by around 100 years, everyone was thinking, well, technically, you know, it's not necessarily Sheev Palpatine, but what about Darth Plagueis? Now, you never know. It's anyone's guess right now, and for all I know, all of this information has come out at D23. But we do know that Darth Plagueis was the big Dark Lord of the Sith. He was the one very fascinated with, you know, experimenting on midichlorians to create life, as Palpatine said. Maybe not a direct quote there. But then he had a master, and now we're getting all of this casting, and I think that this actor is fantastic. I mean, if you've seen Squid Game, Lee Jung-jae is a very capable actor, and it's just making me think now, if he's the male lead, Who could that be? But I'm not going to chuck any more guesses out there right now other than just reporting the news here, because by the time I post this, there's probably more on it. So if you want to know my takes on whatever new is coming out, I'll probably be posting something about it early next week or maybe tomorrow. But that just about ends today's news roundup video, guys. So let me know your thoughts on all of these stories, from that of the potential crossover between Doom Patrol, Titans, and Stargirl, the Jonathan Kent stuff, you know, DC trying to find their Kevin Feige, and everything else that we covered. If you want to help support the channel even more, you can just do so by simply leaving a like on this video, and do consider subscribing if you are brand new here. Links, as always, are in the description down below if you want to follow me on places like Twitter, join my Discord server, and if you want to support the extra mile, we do have a super thanks feature on the channel. We have a join button for memberships, and of course a Patreon, and actually a Teespring store for some Boba merch. But I'm gonna love you and leave you now, everyone, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.